All right. Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your agent of Animated Awesome, because it is Monday, which is Animated Series Day. Today is our penultimate episode featuring uh, um, the Savage Dragon, which we'll finish up next week. We'll have a poll up on YouTube to decide what the next series should be, or at least give an idea about it, what I'm thinking of. And we'll just review episodes 22 through 24. And I don't know, there might be something extra here and there. These are good episodes. I really enjoyed them. Yeah, they were fun, if very predictable, sadly. So, having said all that, before we get too much further into it, please like, share, subscribe. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about the Savage Dragon in general, these episodes. And if you got any ideas on what the next cartoon series should be. I've got a feeling I know what it's going to be, but there's a couple in there that I think have a shot. So, uh, just for future reference. All right. Having said all of that, let's roll.
Every man, woman, and child in the world, take cover. It's here at last, the long-dreaded invasion by flying saucers.
Yes, it is here at last. The most thrilling, shocking motion picture entertainment of your lifetime. Columbia Pictures' Earth versus the Flying Saucer. This is what will happen when a ruthless enemy beyond outer space comes to destroy all humanity. Our rocket satellites destroyed. Our whole Navy in danger of destruction. Never before has the screen achieved these heights of excitement. You must see Columbia Pictures' Earth versus the Flying Saucers.
So, we start out with a fascinating, probably the most interesting episode that I've seen so far called Negate. That's Negate right there, the freak who's got the power to rid other freaks of their freakdom or freakishness. Now, apparently, these are all, I don't know, some of them are born freaks, some of them become freaks. I don't know how this whole thing, they're not mutants, maybe. Maybe some of them are. But so this episode here was first broadcast November 20th, 1996. And let's roll. We There have been a rash of freaks negate touching other freaks and taking away their freak powers. So they don't know who it is. There's Barbaric's there, Dragon's there, and there's Negate himself. It's a news report, and our Dragon's not entirely upset about it, but of course they all start wondering, should I become human? That's a freak blood bike, which they're like banking their own blood because it doesn't work on other freaks. It's very individual, which I thought was interesting. There's our rather attractive nurse, I must say. We're not even, well, and both Barbaric and the dragon are giving blood, donating their own blood. It's taken a rhino a needle for a rhino to get through dragon's skin. I don't know about Barbaric, but Barbaric's maybe he better be 18 at least, as we'll find out in the next episode. Mako, of course, shows up with I've got his name in there, but I don't know who old Captain Glory is or General Glory is over here. It's got to have some name, but I haven't found it yet. They're not giving an they're making a withdrawal. And is that Colossus? Sure looks like him, but there's all the freak blood. And of course, our heroes are, if you donate blood, you're a little woozy afterward because if you don't get your orange juice in your cookie. So yeah, they get smacked. Basher, And suddenly, Negate shows up, and Basher is like, "What are you going to do?" He says, "Don't make me." But he touches him, and Basher's human, and he can't turn back. It's permanent. Done. Negate warned him, and he's like, "Well, and he's all upset. So, of course, Overlord is upset at Mako, and he's lost one of his henchmen for good. Or has he? So he says, "Go capture this Negate and bring him to me." Freak turned human by mysterious stranger. So now it's out in the Chicago news. Barbaric remembers him and his sister being tormented. And old Niceman is old Niceman. And once again, Alex shuts him down. I really like Alex. And I think Dragon does too, but they're neither of them are going to admit it. So Barbaric shows up and says, "Hey, make me human." And he's like, and he's been at work all night asleep because he's been pondering about whether he should become human or not. The dragon has. There's Barbaric in his human form. Good looking kid now, but he's human. He's just so happy to be able to go buy stuff off the rack, even with his multitude of muscles. He's still pretty muscular as a human. And Dragon is just off in the Netherverse. But Barbaric goes back to his bar, and his former freak friends don't like him because he's human now. And they throw him out. And of course, Alex says she's going to arrest him for assault. But I think that Barbaric said don't press charge. He didn't want to press charges, which is nice of him. So, of course, Negate's been captured by the Overlord. And I don't remember what this weasel's name is, but he's a snitch. So I guess he's a rat more than a weasel. They go and find the Overlord's hideout, and he gets blasted. Now they've caught everybody, including Alex. And Overlord wants Dragon out of his hair, so he's going to make Negate turn him human, and then he's going to kill him. So they're thinking that he will get his memory back once he becomes human because he doesn't remember anything, right? That's the whole thing. Negate says, "Nope, not doing it. You can't force me to do this against my will." And right then, and I've left out the whole part where after Barbaric gets beat up, he goes back and wants to be changed back and gets an influx of his blood. So there is kind of a loophole. But Overlord's going to make Negate touch the dragon, but suddenly he's back. He shows up in a human form, but then he rips out of his clothes, and then he's got all his Barbaric stuff on afterward. Not that I want to see a naked Barbaric, but this doesn't make any sense. I know it's a cartoon based on a comic book. It's got to have some suspension of disbelief, but I mean, is that his true form under there with all the extra, armor and stuff, or basic armor? I kind of like the fact that he wears shorts, though. And General Glory gets pitched around. Mako stabs him from behind, but the dragon's free by now and breaks his teeth. There's the press. And this woman wants her son to be turned human, and all of the others want him to just use his power on him. And he's like, "I don't want to be used as a weapon like that ever again." So he does the non-surprising thing, turns himself human, and that's it. So that was fascinating. Now, they could have done a whole season, 13 episodes on this, with Negate being, abused, before it happens. That would, if I know that, it wasn't going to happen, but I'd be interested in reading about Negate if he's actually in the comic book. Ball of Fire. Not Ball of Confusion, but Ball of Fire. Ball of Confusion. So Alex and Dragon are out and about on their patrol. They're not. They're going to a rich weirdo's house to get a donation for charity. Surprise, it's a trap. The heroes are dumb and fall right into it. There's a bomb, a new bomb. It's a fake. Then the real bomb goes off, blows up. Dragon survives, naturally, but he's injured. His ribs are broken, but he's got a healing factor. Big surprise in the 90s. There's a healing factor. Thank you, Wolverine. You know what? When I read Wolverine, X-Men before, when they were bi-monthly, and Logan said that he got bit by a Deinonychus, or the velociraptor take you. It was a smaller one. He says, no problem, I heal quick. And that's all they said. They didn't even make a big deal about it. I thought his powers were his claws. But, nobody had delved much into his past yet. Be that as it may, but now everyone has a healing factor. Or not everyone, but his ribs are still sore. But he gets up and leaves. He's not, I'm not staying. I'm not resting. We got to sort this thing out. So Alex is helping him. They talk about the policeman's ball, which is, the secret policeman's other ball. There's two volumes of that filled with great music. So go look that up. There's Rita again, making her play for the dragon, and she asked him to go to the ball. Now Alex is perturbed, vexed, if you will, and is driving like a maniac. Short stack there has got a gun, and falls down into a pool. Dragon saves him, and Alex says, "I can get a date anytime I want." So old Bull Roar, shut up, shows up here momentarily. I'm trying to find out what his name was again. Where is that? Bludgeon? Oh no, might have been the Bull. Yeah, well, Raging Bull. He's out of prison for being a jerk, and Alex goes and makes googly eyes at him, and then completely acts out of character to make Dragon jealous, which works because these two aren't being honest with each other. But they're still partners, and they obviously have a great deal of affection for each other, which I really like as well. Now, in the comic book, I believe they begin to casually date, but and I saw one panel which I can't get out of my mind anymore, but they weren't just dating. That's all I'm going to say. But she teaches him how to dance, and then they have another argument. But they go right back on patrol, and General Glory's here. Again, I really should find out what his name is, and if I ever do, I'll tell you. This episode was November 27th, 1996 on the USA channel. That was its first airing. And this poor arts fair once again gets mauled by the bad guys and the good guys. More discussion. There's a bomb. Dun, dun, dun. Dragon throws it. Kaboom! And it falls in the water. Kaboom. And that is a bludgeon there. And he's annoyed at Short Stack. I know that's not his name, but Chicago Policeman's Ball. We're here to the end, the final chapter. Alex has brought her date, the Raging Bull, and they all look quite spiffy in their dress uniform, their dress blues. Is that what you call them? So that's Frank's niece or something or another who wants a toy, a dolly. For some reason, Short Stack's there talking to Barbaric because Bludgeon's pissed him off. They have another heart-to-heart here. And then Dragon has a flashback about where the bomb could be. Beats up Bludgeon yet again. Throws a refrigerator or something heavy at him. Alex clunks the Overlord over the top of the head with a hook there. Bludgeon lands on him, but then he gets away. And off they go to rescue the secret policeman's other ball. Little girl just gives her a toy right away. No, I like that she doesn't cry or anything. And kaboom! So they got to get her another dolly, but that's no problem. She didn't have it that long to become too attached to it, right? And they go in. That's the end of that episode. It's very touching. I just really like their camaraderie here. And look, Rita and the Raging Bull find each other. And that's not Manny Fernandez or whoever played the Raging Bull in the movie. Could be Manny Fernandez. And look at how happy Rita looks. All right, our third and final episode today, Femme Fatale, December 4th, 1996 was its first air date. And there's a new Dragon Slayer robot. It's probably immune to the gun because it's a robot. I like it's super powerful. It gets zapped by something, maybe because there's a bunch of them, but it keeps coming back. It's like a Terminator. It keeps coming back. Dragon pulls its leg off. Alex makes a bad joke about it. There's the Murphy Airport, where Octopus and Splithead, I don't know what his name is. And there is Alex's old friend Haley, who's turned into a freak due to an exposure to toxic waist. Her name is, well, I don't remember anymore. But here's the plug. They're getting massages. They're old friends. Barbaric catches it. Oh, and she doesn't, say she says she has no time to meet anyone. So she runs into Barbaric, who is young. One would think that Alex is at least in her 30s, and Barbaric might be 10 years younger, and maybe even younger than Haley. But she's all taken, at least appears to be taken with him. Alex calls, hey, you want to come have sushi with us and chaperone Barbaric and Haley? He's like, all right. A fight breaks out between Split's Face and Dragon, and that's a propane and propane accessory. And he's like, don't fire. And then he does the old Gorgon stomp, inhuman Gorgon. There's the Split Face. How does he even function that way? But they're having sushi. Dragon's late, but Haley lets her hair down, and there she is. I don't remember her name. I do not. The Dragon Slayer robots show up to police HQ. Dragon has he's having a burger at a sushi joint. This brings back deja vu, eh, Lilith? Niceman, knows that something's going on. The Dragon Slayer saves a Split Face, and Barbaric's there, and he's in love. Haley's talked him to helping out move stuff out of her ship, possibly stolen goods, and she's on the phone to somebody. Dun dun dun. Frank talks to Alex and Dragon, and now they've told that leads to a fight between Dragon and Barbaric because he's in love. Really, he's not. He's been on one date. He might be in lust or infatuated, but he's not in love. But they have a frank exchange of ideas, and Haley is not strong. I want to say her name's something like, something to do with causing disease. But it's not disease, but it's something like that. Anyway, this is what she's got: new power source for the Dragon Slayer bots, and obviously she's working with the vicious circle. Overlord doesn't appear in here at all, and her power is that she can absorb other strength and other freak powers. So she beats Barbaric up for a while. The new dragon bots show up. Alex is grabbed by the octopus. She zaps Split Face and the octopus, so they're out of thing. And, Haley is manhandling Barbaric, but he's had enough and throws her out of the top of the building, lighthouse thingy parapet. Down she goes. She tries to get away by flying a plane, and Barbaric's not having it. Kaboom goes the plane. He gives her a kiss on the cheek for old time's sake. At least we had sushi. And they're like, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship there, Barbaric, which they've been friends for the last, 24 episodes at least. So, it's kind of a bittersweet ending. You got to feel sorry for Barbaric. I don't think he did find happiness. All right, those are our 3 episodes. Like I said, tomorrow will be Earth versus the Flying Saucers, which is I enjoyed way more than I did the last time I watched it. It's a good movie. It's not Harryhausen's best. I believe it's the last black and white one I'll review. Last black and white one of his. So that'll be it until we'll have color ones for the rest of the time. All right, my fellow agents. Until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off and phasing out.
Flying saucers have invaded our planet. Washington, London, Paris, Moscow are key targets. The whole world is under attack. Can it survive?
Survivors of a disintegrated solar system. At this moment, the remainder of our fleet is circling your globe.
What do you want with me?
Arrange for your world leaders to confer with us in the city of Washington.
They set up an electronic screen. The artillery doesn't penetrate.
Never before has the screen reached such heights of excitement, breathtaking spectacle, hair-raising terror. See the saucer men's high-frequency disintegrators. See flying saucers travel thousands of miles in seconds. See great cities leveled by flying saucer monsters.
Russ, look.
The same kind of thing that's watched us since the beginning of the project.
People of Earth, attention. People of Earth, attention. This is a voice speaking to you from thousands of miles beyond your planet.
They're coming down to take over. They made that clear to us in the saucer. To the best of our knowledge, my wife and I are the only ones left alive.